we are going to discuss the chapter that is metallurgy. What is metallurgy? We will discuss through definition of it. The process used for extraction of metals in their pure form from their ores is referred to as metallurgy. Here is a term that is given in the definition. What is ore? Now question is, what is ore? Ore is a part of metal which have high concentration of any particular metal for obtaining from it in pure form of that metal. Now we will discuss the different methods used in obtaining pure metal from their ores. Methods of obtaining pure metal from their ore. The first step that is crushing and grinding of ore. Is we know that first of all, we should do mining of ores, and for doing mining we have to locate proper site of ore. After searching the site of ore, we have to obtain it through mining or digging a pit. Now first step involved in the process of metallurgy, that is crushing and grinding of ore, is we know that crushing and grinding of ore. Crushing is the process in which large pieces of metals are converted into fine particles so that their surface area increase for increasing their concentration. Now concentration of ore, the process of increasing the quantity of particular metal ore in obtained ore, that is called in concentration. Means we can say that during concentration process large amount of impurities are removed from it. Now next point, that is roasting or calcination. Calcination and smelting. Roasting is a process in which roasting and calcination both are processes in which metal ores are converted into oxide form. Now smelting is the process of melting converting it into liquid form. Reduction is the process by which metal oxides are converted into metal form. Now next step, that is refining of metal. In this process of refining of metal obtained during reduction also contains some impurities. We need to remove these minute impurities from metal to get pure form, and for carrying out this process to obtain pure metal from their impure form is called refining of metal. Here we can watch that it is a jaw crusher machine. Jaw crusher machine is used for pulverization of ore. Ores are crushed into a fine powder in big jaw crusher and ball mill. This process is called pulverization. By this process, large pieces of ores are converted to fine particles in big jaw crusher and ball mill. After pulverization, the ores are concentrated based on the type of impurities and their percentage proportion. Concentration of ore is carried out in three ways. First ways of concentration of ore, that is concentration or centrifugation based on varying density. Means due to difference in density, by applying centrifugation process, ores can be concentrated. Now second process, that is froth flotation method. In this method is also concentrated ores converted into its concentration form. And magnetic separation method, it is used generally for iron ores. First we have discussed first method of concentration of ore, that is centrifugation method. Centrifugation is done when there is difference between the density of ores and the impurities. This is the operators used for separation of impurities by centrifugation method. Denser ore particles settle in the grooves and lighter impurities rise to the water surface and are separated. In this method, the powder ore is placed on a moving table with slot that is called groove and is moved rapidly. The dense ore particles settle down in the groove while while lighter while lighter impurities are separated from lighter impurities are. Overall process is represented here where you can watch groove. This is next process, that is froth flotation method. Froth flotation is used to concentrate ores that are in sulfide forms. Now we can watch like copper, lead, zinc. Concentration of sulfide foods of copper, lead and zinc metals are carried out by froth flotation method. Ore preferentially wetted by the oil and hence float on the top is foam. Gangue preferably wetted by the water and settle down. Gangue is impurity. Compressor pump is used for passing high quantity of air and water containing fine oil and gangue. Gangue is impurity. Froth bubbles carried sulfide ore on the. I want to make clear about the froth flotation process, that is of concentration. In this process we call what is froth flotation process is used to concentrate ores that are in sulfide forms. Processes you can watch in proper form. Concentration of sulfide ore of copper, lead and zinc metals are carried out by froth flotation method. This is mentioned here. Different types of ores are represented here. The ore is taken in a large tank containing oil and water and is agitated with the current of compressor air. Here water containing pile is used for creating foam. The ore wetted by the oil separates by the impurities or gangue in the form of froth. Heavy particles like clay, sand, etc. become wet and settle at the bottom. Okay, and compression pump is used for creating air from outside to inside. Ore is represented here, removed with sieve in a second vessel and washed with water properly. Now next one process is magnetic separation method, that is used for separating iron ore like impurities. In magnetic separation, the pulverized ore is placed on a conveyor belt that has two magnetic parts. The magnetic particles are attracted toward the magnetic wheel and fall separately, and remaining fall separate apart from the non-magnetic particles. Methods of conversion of ores to oxide: roasting, calcination and smelting. Now we will discuss separately each process. The process that is a roasting process in direct form. Roasting is the process of heating sulfide ores in the supply of oxygen into their oxide form. Like a zinc sulfide, mercuric sulfide and lead sulfide has been converted to oxide form. Now second process, that is calcination, is the process of heating the concentrated ore in the absence of air at a temperature not sufficient to melt the ore. Zinc carbonate is converted into its oxide. It is mainly used for oxide ores. Now we will discuss the process of smelting. Smelting, the melting operation in which the constituents of ore are in the melted form. Now we comes on the methods of reduction of metallic oxide, the reducing agent, electrolysis and thermal decomposition. These are the three methods of reduction of metal oxide into its metallic form. We will follow first method, that is reducing, by using reducing method. Magnesium oxide, zinc oxide, iron oxide, ferrous or ferric oxide is converted into their metallic form by using carbon and carbon monoxide is a reducing agent, that we can watch here. Iron oxide, when oxides of metal like iron, magnesium and chromium are heated with the aluminium, the corresponding metal is obtained by a reduction. And all these reaction is mentioned here. Reduction of metallic oxides is carried out by, we can observe here. Here Hoare and Herold process for reduction of aluminium oxide to aluminium has been mentioned. This can be represented through diagram. As we know that graphite anodes are used, is a anode, and here electrolyte aluminium oxide dissolved in molten cryolite act as a electrolyte, and molten alumina is kept on the lowermost layer, and carbon lined iron act as a anode, sorry, cathode. Aluminium, here we can watch the electrolytic reaction. Aluminium oxide is broken into aluminium ion and oxide ion. At cathode, aluminium ion migrates and it gets reduced. At anode, oxide ion moves and it gets oxidized. The product at cathode is pure aluminium metal, and product at anode, that is oxygen gas. Electrochemical reduction. The method used electrochemical reduction method is used to obtain metals from oxides of active metals, because these metals attract more oxygen than carbon. Now, after reduction of aluminum oxide into pure alumina, methods of refining is used to obtain pure metals from their impure metals. There are three methods. First one is electrolysis method, liquefaction method, and distillation method. Now, on the basis of reactivity series, we can observe that high reactive metal, less reactive metal can be obtained by displacing by reacting with less high. We can watch in the reactivity sheet, potassium is most reactive element, and gold is least reactive. Metal like copper, zinc, tin, lead, and chromium, nickel, silver, and gold are refined electrolytically. Now, because these are less reactive metals that can be displaced by high reactive metals. Here, properly in electrolytic reaction has been represented. This one is anode, this is cathode. Cathode is connected with negative terminal of battery, and anode is connected with positive terminal of battery. And here is electrolyte, that is acidified copper sulfate. We can clearly watch that at anode, copper anode is act as a copper, that is impure form. Anode gets oxidized at in anode plate, that is made up of copper, gets oxidized, and cathode copper ion gets reduced. Is we know that net reaction is copper, that is impure form, converted into pure copper form through this electrolysis process of refining. Now we can watch the reaction taking place here. Is we know that copper ion moves here, and here copper ions come from anode to into the solution, and they moves on the cathode, that is copper ion. And both process we can observe here at oxidation and reduction. Both process will take place at cathode and anode respectively. It comes on next process, that is liquefaction process, refining of metal. It is used for refining a metal like tin, lead, etc., having low melting point. In this method, if furnace having slope is kept slightly at higher temperature than the melting point of the metal, here we can watch that hot air is passed through upper portion, and impure metal powder is passed on downward side, that gets melted, and pure metal in liquid form can be after the metal melt and is collected in the vessel kept below. The melting point of impurities are higher, so do not melt and found in the solid form on the slope, but metal have low melting point, so they gets melted, and after cooling down we can obtain it in crystallization form. Silicon can be also formed in this way, and boron can be obtained in this way after crystallization, that we can watch in this portion. Is we know that impurities are more soluble in the molten form, so is the molten metals cool down, the solubility of impurity decreases and separate out from the metal in the form of crystals. Now we will watch summary. The process used for extraction of metal in their pure form from their ore is called metallurgy. Ores are crushed into a fine powder in big jaw crusher and ball mills, and this process is called pulverization. The first step of metallurgy is concentration of ore. It is done by gravity separation, froth flotation, and magnetic separation is also used. After the ore is concentration, it is reduced to metallic oxide by the process of roasting and calcination. We know that roasting is the process of heating the concentrated ore to the high temperature in the presence of excess air, while calcination is the process of heating carbonate ore in the absence of air. Now next definition, that is smelting. Smelting is the melting operation in which the constituents of ore are melted in or are in melted form. Next step of metallurgy. Now, next step of metallurgy involves reduction of metal. It can be done by electrolysis. The impure metals thus received can be purified by distillation, liquefaction, and electrolytic refining. Now, this chapter has been completed. We are going to discuss the chapter metallurgy. As we know, that metallurgy is the process of extracting metals from easily and conveniently from its ore. Now we will discuss the ore. Minerals from which metals can be extracted conveniently and economically are called ores. Here is a diagram that representing ore. Ores can be obtained by mining process from the earth crust. Now ores contain one or more metal compounds along with certain non-metallic and earthly impurities. Here is the diagram of ores that is obtained after mining from earth crust. After obtaining ore from mining, we will follow these steps to extract pure metal from its ore. First, the step that involved in the extraction of metals from its ore, that is concentration of ore. Second, that is isolation of metal from concentrated ore, and third and last one, that is purification of metals. Now we will discuss the steps involved in the extraction of metals. Okay, now first is step, that is concentration of ore. Concentrating an ore means getting rid of all unwanted material from the ore, which are also referred to as gangue. Gangue contains all earthly impurities mixed with ore. Different methods used in the process of concentrating an ore are: first, that is hydraulic washing method; second, magnetic separation; third one is froth flotation and leaching method. Now we will discuss each method. First method is hydraulic washing method. In hydraulic washing method, we can wash through this diagram. Ores are passed from upper part, that is steam, and steam of water is also passed, and along with earthly impurities, heavier particles get settled down, and that lighter particle, that is metal part, moves outside. And next process that is used in magnetic separation process, that is roller mentioned here. As we know that it is conveyor belt that is in magnetic form, and after passing the iron through it, we watch that after passing iron through it, we watch that magnetic part moves towards the belt, magnetic belt, and non-magnetic part moves into the another chamber. That can be watched through this diagram. Non-magnetic materials, here is magnetic material, and other chamber, that is magnetic part. Now next process, that is froth flotation method, is based on the difference of their density of their impurities, that is discussed here. We can watch now. That is oil containing, it is mixed with oil and water, that is used for preparing preparing foam, and powdered wood is put in this chamber, and a heavy 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 air concentration is passed into this chamber, and after some time we watch that froth containing particles, means we watch that the lighted particles moves, gang settle down, and the lighter particle moves in upward part lighter particles are ore ore of metal. Now in leaching process we watch that sodium hydroxide containing, that is aluminium ore, is when mixed with sodium hydroxide, then sodium meta-aluminate is formed, and silica containing react with sodium hydroxide, then sodium silicate is obtained. Now we can see that there are two types of impurities. First is sodium meta-aluminate and second one is sodium silicate. These impurities has to be removed after filtering. Again we can watch that when carbon dioxide gas is passed in this mixture, then aluminium hydroxide precipitate is obtained. Now we can filter it. Aluminium hydroxide, after filtration aluminium hydroxide is converted to aluminium oxide. We will discuss some more points. Is we know that minerals from which metals can be extracted conveniently and economically are called ores. Naturally occurring chemical substances containing metals are called minerals, and those minerals from which metals can be extracted conveniently and economically are called ores. Now this process of concentration of ore has been completed. We are going to discuss the chapter 7, metallurgy. What is metallurgy? We will discuss initially. Metallurgy is the process of extracting metal from its ore. Metallurgy is the process of extracting ore from its extracting metal from its ore, that is called metallurgy. We will discuss, before studying the metallurgy, we will discuss the different types of metals that are extracted from through this process. Now we will discuss about some key fact about the periodic table. Introduction. About the introduction of this metallurgy, we will know about elements are the basic building blocks of matter. As we know that elements are the basic building block of matter, means all matter are made up of elements, and elements are made up of atoms, and which may exist is mixture, means we can say that elements may exist in mixture form or compound form, or we can say that either in solid, either or liquid, or in gaseous form these are present. Till now we can see, we have observed from a book that is about 120 elements has been discovered. Now in order to simpler study of element, elements are mainly classified into two categories, or generally we can say that three categories. First metal category, second non-metal category, and third metalloid category. Metals, before study in detail, we know about the metals. What is metal? The elements which form positive, ions or cations. How they form cations? By losing one or more electrons from their valence cell. Valence cell means outermost shell and form basic oxides. Basic oxides are called metals. For example, we know that calcium has electronic configuration 2882, means 2 is valence cell electron. When calcium loses 2 electrons, it becomes stable, means its outermost shell has 8 electrons. Now it gains 2 positive charge down. We can say that it is calcium cation. In the similar way, sodium has 1 electrons in their valence cell. When 1 electron is lost by sodium, then sodium form cation which have 8 electrons in their valence cell. Now metals, now we know that this Na plus ion become balanced totally. Now we will discuss about the few criteria about the metals. We know that metals are many non-metals. We will discuss about non-metals. Non-metals are those elements, non-metals, those elements which form cation, those elements which form anion by or negative ions, those elements which forms anions, or we can say that negative ions by gaining one or more electrons, electrons in their valence cell and form acidic oxide acidic oxides are called non-metals. For example, we can take non-metals like is chlorine. Is we know that chlorine has atomic number 17, so its electronic configuration will be 287. When chlorine gains one electron, it becomes negatively charged, means we can say that 288. Now we can say that in valence electron, when one electron is added, its octet is completed and it becomes anion. This is chloride anion. That is the example of non-metal. Now we can example of oxygen. Is we know that oxygen has atomic number 8, so its electronic configuration will be 2 to complete its octet. Oxygen need 2 electrons. So oxygen when take 2 electrons, gain 2 electrons, then oxygen become oxide ion, and its octet has been completed. Now we will discuss some different, means we can say that about in periodic table it is 80% are metals, in 20% are non-metals and metalloid. Non-metals and metalloids are present in 20% of elements. Now we will discuss about the metalloid. Metalloids are those elements which shows property of metal as well as non-metal, like is silicon, germanium, represent the property of metal as well as non-metal. Through definition we will observe here, that is metalloids. Metalloids means those elements which show the properties of metals as well as non-metals are called metalloid. Okay, metalloids. These are called metalloids. For example, we can take metalloid with silicon, Si silicon, germanium, Ge, germanium, arsenic, As, Ge for germanium, arsenic for As, and we can antimony, At and At. These are At, and tellurium for Te. These are etc. These are metalloid elements. Now we will discuss the position of metals in periodic table. Here we will discuss position of metals and non-metals in periodic table. Metals in periodic table. We can watch here where is metals are located. Is we know that in group first. Group first on the left side, that is group first. Here we can watch in group first, group second, group first, group second. Group second elements on the left hand side are placed. Means we can say that generally group first and second, group first and group second elements are located on the left hand side, left side of periodic table, left side of periodic table. Metals are located generally. Means we can whereas the non-metals are located on the right hand side. Non-metals are located on the right hand side of periodic table. Non-metals are periodic table. Generally we can watch metals are placed on the left side and non-metals are placed on the right hand side. And metalloids are separated. Metal and non-metals are periodic table are separated. Metal and non-metals are separated by each other through a zigzag line. Means we can say that in this way the zigzag line separates metal and non-metals from each other. Now alkali metals, we will discuss in detail different types of metals of periodic table. First group of periodic table, that is alkali metal. Group first element are alkali metals. Alkali metals are group first element. Alkali metals are group first elements of periodic table. These are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. These have atomic numbers. This have atomic number 3, 11, 19, 37, 55, and francium Fr have atomic number, that is 87. These metals are called alkali metals. Why? Because alkali metals, because these elements are metal, and because these elements are metal and forms, and their oxides are basic in nature, are oxides and hydroxide. Oxides and hydroxides are basic in nature. Yeah, alkaline are basic in nature. Basic in nature means we can say that they form alkaline solution. They form alkaline solution in water. Now, dear student, we will discuss about the characteristics. If we know that position of periodic table, we can say that alkali metals are lie on the left side in group first. That is, hydrogen is also located in upper portion of this group, but hydrogen is not exactly put in the group first because its position is anomalous. General characteristics of alkali metal is we have discussed through the definition of alkali metal in the region. This will be same is their characteristic. Means we can see that these are very reactive. All these elements are these elements are very reactive. These elements are very reactive and do not occur in free state, and do not occur in free state. Okay, do not occur in free state. Now second point of characteristics of alkali metal is when cut they gives when freshly cut gives shiny appearance, gives bright appearance, or we can say the luster means shiny, gives bright luster, because they are big, and soon gets tarnished means their shining has been disappeared due to reaction, tarnished due to air after reacting with air. Now third point belonging to it, that is they are soft metal. They are soft metals. Like a sodium can be cut with knife, and they have very low ionization energy. Low ionization energy means amount of energy required to remove electron from valence cell. Valence cell is called ionization energy, and these elements are good metals, so they lost electrons easily, and so we can say that they have low ionization energy, and they show oxidation state. They show oxidation state +1. In compounds. Those say oxidation +1 in compounds. Now we can say that in 6th point we know they have they have low melting and boiling point. And boiling point means these are not made more solid, they are soft, so easily they can be melted into liquid form, and impact they impart characteristic color to flame. They impart means provide. They impart characteristics color to flame. For example, we can say that lithium gives crimson red color, and sodium gives golden yellow color. Now next point in the form of characteristic, that is they form ionic compound. When because metals have tendency to lose electron and non-metal have tendency to gain electron, that's why they form ionic compound. Now they show strong reducing power. Have strong reducing power means we can say that if they easily gives electron to oxidizing agent, then they have strong reducing power. So because they lost electron easily to reduce any other substance. Now we can say that next feature of this is means they obtained by electrolysis. They obtained by the electrolysis of molten halides containing some other salts. Okay, Now we will discuss second part, that is alkaline earth metal. Discuss the second topic, that is second topic of second part of metal, second type of metal, that is alkaline earth metals. What are alkaline earth metals? Those metals which form alkaline metals are those metals which are present on the earth crust and are of alkaline nature. How these metals are called alkaline earth metals? Because all these elements are metals and their oxides occur in earth crust. Means we can say that elements are generally metals and they generally are found on the earth crust and give alkaline solution in water. Means if we dissolve in water, that gives alkaline solution in water. We can, in position, we will discuss position of elements in periodic table. As we know that these elements lie in group second or second A of periodic table. These elements are barium, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium. That is SR for strontium, barium and radium. Barium and radium. We can say that atomic number of beryllium is 4, magnesium has 12, calcium has 20, strontium has 38, barium has 56 and radium has 88. Now dear student will be, and these elements have valency. These elements contain 2 electrons in their valence shell. Now we will discuss the general characteristics of metals. These metals have high reactivity, occurs in combined state. Means these are highly reactive metals and lost electron easily, then they form ionic compound generally. Have low ionization energy, means the amount of energy required to remove extra electron from outermost valence shell. So they have required very less energy because these are highly reactive. Then they lost electrons is 2 electrons easily and they form cation. Like this is metal, when losses 2 electron then form metal 2 positive ion, that is cation. This show oxidation state +2, means they lost 2 electrons from their valence shell and they show oxidation state +2 in any compound. They are harder means harder than alkali metals. We can say that alkali metals are soft metal, but these metals are more harder than alkali metals. These have low melting point and boiling point than alkali metals. Calcium, strontium, barium, radium. These elements impart color to the flame. Means when these elements are bring near the flame, they gives particular color to the flame. Like we can, for example, we can say calcium gives brick red color to the solution. Now dear students, we will discuss the next type of element, that is transition element. Transition elements are, as we know that transition elements are located in between of periodic table. As we know that on the right sides are alkali metal and alkaline earth metals are located, while in the middle of periodic table lie transition elements. What are, now question arises that what are transition metals? These are, we can say that these are placed, they are placed in the location we will discuss initially. Their location, they are placed in the middle of periodic table, in the middle of periodic table. Now we can see that their last cell, means these elements have their last cell, second last cell, that is called penultimate cell. And last cell is called penultimate cell. Penultimate cell is incomplete. Penultimate cell is incomplete. All of them are metals. All of them are their second last cell are incomplete. As we know that if for example we take any material that gives what are ultimate cell, penultimate cell. For example, if we take any metal that is sodium, like this sodium, it has electronic 281. This cell is ultimate cell. This cell is ultimate cell. It is also called ultimate cell. It is also called balance cell or outermost cell. This one is penultimate cell. Penultimate cell means we can say that this cell is penalty, and means second last cell is incomplete in case of transition metals. Inner transition metals. These elements are called P block, D block elements. These are transition metals are called D block elements of periodic table. Inner transition metals. Inner transition metals. What are inner transition metals? We will know about it. They are placed at the bottom of. They are placed at the bottom of. Placed at the bottom of periodic table. Bottom of periodic table. These are placed at the bottom of periodic table. Means we can say actually group third and sixth. Group third and sixth and seventh period. Group third means sixth period and seventh period. Seventh period elements are placed in form of F block element. These are called F block elements. Their block elements. Their third last means pre-penultimate cell. Their third last cell. Third last means we can say that pre-penultimate cell. Is we have discussed already what is ultimate cell. Ultimate cell is also called outermost cell or balance cell, and second last cell that is from the right side towards the left side, that is called penultimate cell, and third one from left side, that is called pre-penultimate. Here in case of transition elements, pre-penultimate cell is incomplete. Now dear student, we will discuss strategic metals. As we know that during the war situations, some special types of metals used for making different types of armaments or during the fight, these are strategic metals. Their definition: strategic metals. Now topic comes, that is strategic minerals. As we know that in our country there are those minerals which are essential for countries' economies or in defense are called strategic minerals, but they are in short supply. For gaining such type of strategic minerals, our country India keeps better relationship with other countries for supply of such strategic minerals, so that formation of different types of wartime defense apparatus can be developed. For example, chromium is essential for alloy making jet engines. This we can say that strategic metals are the symbol of our country's development or in field of defense activities. Students, we are going to discuss new topic, that is activity series. We can say that is part 2, that is based on worksheet number 2. Activity series, in which the metals are arranged in decreasing order of their reactivity. Means we can say that potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, gold and lead. These are the metals arranged in activity series. After observing this series, we can say that metal lying at this is the decreasing order of reactivity of metals. Means we can say that the metal lying above at the topmost of this series is highly reactive, and metal lying at the downward side, that is least reactive. Now we will discuss its features or main points of activity series. The higher the position, means if the position of metal in activity C is higher than any other metal, then it is high reactive. Metals lying above any other metal displace it means, if here can we watch by taking an example, zinc can displace copper because zinc lie above the copper, so zinc can displace copper and form zinc sulfate and copper become released. Again we can say that metals higher, metal above the hydrogen have high electropositive in nature, and metal below the hydrogen have low electropositive in nature. Metals above the hydrogen can displace hydrogen from water and from acids, but metal lying below the hydrogen cannot displace it. We can watch through this three, means those metals which lie above the hydrogen can displace the metal those lie below the hydrogen. We can watch it like is, we have taken example of zinc treated with copper sulfate, then formation of zinc sulfate will take place and copper is released. Now in the same way we can, metals above the hydrogen can displace the hydrogen from water and from acid, but the metals lying below hydrogen cannot displace it. Now dear students, next point, oxides of metal like is calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, potassium oxide, sodium oxide cannot be reduced by using hydrogen, H2, carbon monoxide or carbon, because these are highly reactive oxides, so hydrogen, carbon monoxide and carbon cannot displace it. Now dear student, we will discuss the extraction of metal based on the activity series. How metals can be extracted by observing electroactivity series. We can watch here, that is extraction. Topic is extraction of metals based on activity series, activity series. We can watch it from because we know that highly active metals up to aluminium in activity series, metals up to aluminium in activity series, activity series are lysis of their fused halides or oxides. Again we will know what it is saying. This means those highly active metals up to aluminium, those are located in periodic activity series, are obtained by electrolysis, means by passing electricity through the fused halide or oxides. Why? This reason is because their oxides cannot be reduced, cannot be reduced by common reducing agents such as copper, carbon monoxide and hydrogen cannot displace it. Now we will discuss about the reduction of, under the subheading of extraction of metal, we will discuss the reduction of metallic oxide. This topic is reduction of metallic oxides. Metallic oxides. Reduction of, now we will discuss reduction of metal under the heading extraction of metal based on activity series. First part, metal like iron, lead and tin. Lead and tin are obtained by reduction of their oxides, with carbon monoxide and hydrogen. We can take its example. Here is metal oxide, that is iron oxide. How iron can be extracted from their oxides? If we treat it with carbon, and heated it, then formation of iron and carbon monoxide will take place. Now again we will take example of oxide. This is Fe2O3. This is ferrous salt. This is ferric oxide. When again it is treated with carbon, then formation of iron and carbon monoxide will take place. For balancing it, put 3 and put 3 here, 2 and put 3 here, so that it get balanced. Again we can reduce is by taking iron oxide, also can be reduced by taking carbon monoxide. Heating with carbon monoxide, then formation of iron and carbon dioxide will take place. Iron and carbon monoxide will take place. For balancing it, we have to take 3 here and 2 here, so that it get balanced, and 2 here, so that properly these number of carbon and oxygen get balanced. Again iron oxide, ferric oxide can be reduced by using hydrogen. And we can watch its reaction. Here formation of iron and water vapor will take place. That can be discussed here. For balancing it, put 3 here and put 3 here, so that it gets balanced, and 2 here, so that iron also become balanced. Again we can take lead oxide, PbO when treated with C means carbon, that is called coke. Then formation of lead and carbon monoxide will take place. Again we can take, if we take lead oxide treated with carbon monoxide, then formation of lead plus carbon dioxide will take place. Again we can take one example. When lead oxide is treated with hydrogen, then formation of lead and water vapor will take place. Now we can say that metal like is iron, lead and tin in their oxides form, and their oxides form can be reduced by taking carbon monoxide and hydrogen is a reducing agent. Now dear students, we will take oxides of mercury and oxides of mercury and silver get reduced. Oxides of Hg, that is mercury and silver and Ag are reduced or not stable, these are not stable to heat. Not stable to heat means after heating they separate out. After heating they separate out at temperature of 300 degree Celsius, like is mercuric oxide. Mercuric oxide when heated above 300 degrees Celsius, above 300 degree Celsius, then they get reduced and formation of mercury and along with release of oxygen will occur. We can watch here. For balancing it, put 2 and put 2 here. This become balanced. In the similar way, Ag2, that is silver oxide, also get reduced by heating above 300. By heating above 300 degrees Celsius, formation of silver and release of oxygen will take place. For balancing it, put 2 here so that this oxygen, number of oxygen get balanced, and 4 nearby mercury. Nearby mercury. In the similar way, mercuric sulfide. Again, mercury is obtained by merely heating a sulfide, but for mercuric sulfide also can be reduced by heating in the presence of oxygen, then formation of mercury and sulfur dioxide will take place. Now again we come on third category, that is silver and gold. About the extraction process of silver and gold, because these are important metals for our economy. Silver, that is Ag, and Au, that is gold, can be extracted by displacement from solution containing ions by electropositive zinc. Can be obtained by displacement from solutions containing their ions by more electropositive metal zinc, by more electropositive metal, that is zinc. What metal? That is zinc. We can watch that is zinc in solid form. When added with solution of mercury, that is Ag plus, in aqueous solution that occurs in ionic form, then we get zinc ion. In aqueous solution, Zn2 plus ion in aqueous solution, and the release of mercury. Now reduction of metal oxide means we can say that on the extraction of metal oxide, on the basis of their activity series has been completed. Discuss the process involved during the metallurgy. As we know that metallurgy is the process of extracting metal from its ore, that is by following different process, that is called metallurgy. First of all, in process of metallurgy, we have to select the site of a site, means a place where concentration of ore is maximum for a particular metal. That is called selection. That is called site of ore. After selecting the site of ore, we have to do mining process to take out mineral. Means ores of metal are called also minerals. Now that is obtained through mining. Now in second step, extracting out a mineral from earth surface through mining by using surface mining or open pit. Means we can say that in this process, by making hole or by doing mining, metal is extracted out. As we know that after extraction, metal ores are in a large piece or like stone. These are crushed and grind. Means in this process we will crush and grind the ore obtained after mine. Crushing and grinding ore is done through a big jaw meal. Big jaw meal is used in crushing. Big jaw machine is used for crushing and grinding of ore. After crushing and grinding of ore, we have to increase
Why do we need? Here question arises that why do we need for crushing and grinding of ore? We can say that to increase the surface area, means if their surface area will be maximum, then large amount of impurity can be taken out. Now in next step we have to do increase the concentration of ore from the crushed and grind ore. Concentration of ore means the process by which we can increase the amount of quantity of ore in the crushed and grind part, crushed and grind ore. This concentration of ore is carried out by 4 different processes. First method, that is gravity separation method. Gravity separation means method that is called, it is followed for heavy metal. In this condition, crushed ore is passed through. As we know that crushed ore have different densities. Crushed ore has different densities. Now the crushed ore are separated by using gravity separation process. Means when we pass ore from our upper part, then due to difference in densities they comes down. Means heavy ores may entangle in the upper part and lower ores get lower impurities moves away from this separation method. Second one is that is froth flotation method. Froth flotation means झाग बनाने वाला method. ठीक है, froth flotation method क्या है बेटे? In froth flotation method we can carry out by adding different types of chemicals, by developing foam, that is called jhag. In the foam formation of impurities comes along with the foam on the upper surface, and heavy particles gets entangled on the lower surface. Now we can separate the foam. Now this process is followed for the separation of sulfur ore. Now next process, that is electromagnetic separation. Electromagnetic separation is the process that is carried out to separate iron like ore and its impurity. In this iron ores, electromagnetic separation process is applied. In this process, a mill is used that contain a belt made up of magnet. When we pass the crushed ore over this belt, then the magnetic part gets attracted towards the belt and non-magnetic part will move away from it. Means we can say that impurity gets separated. And last method for increasing the concentration of ore, that is chemical separation. This chemical separation process is followed for aluminium ore. By this method, different types of chemicals are added to increase the concentration of ore of aluminium, like that is Al2O3, that is bauxite. Means after increasing the concentration of ore, we have to remove impurity. To remove the bulk removal of impurity, means large amount of impurity can be removed after increasing the concentration. And for removing the bulk impurities, we follow the next process, that is oxidation of ore. Means the process by which ores are converted into oxide form. That is called oxidation of ore. Oxidation of ore can be carried out by two processes. That is called, first process is called calcination, or second process, that is roasting. Calcination is, we know that calcination is a process that is carried out in the absence of calcination is the process that is carried out in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, that is called calcining. Means again we will discuss here, calcination is the process by which metal carbonates are converted into oxide form by heating in the absence of air. But roasting is a process of converting any ore into sulfide ore into oxide ore by heating in the presence of oxygen. Roasting is the process of heating a metal ore in the presence of metal sulfide ore in the presence of oxygen to convert into oxide ore. Now calcination is the process of heating carbonate or metal carbonate to convert into oxide ore. These processes are followed during the for oxidation of ore. After the process of oxidation, we comes on the next step to ensure that the metal to be extracted gets means after oxide ore we have to we move towards the process so that metals can be extracted from their oxide ore. To remove the metal from their oxides, we follow the process that is called reduction of oxide, means removal of oxygen. We know that reduction is the process that is called removal of oxygen from its oxide ore. For carrying out this process, we will follow 3 steps by using oxide ore. If oxide ore is added to the by using the oxide ore, means by this process we can say that oxide ore is not, this is coke. By using coke that is carbon. To reduce the oxide, as we have discussed in the last part of video, reduction of oxide is carried out by using coke. Means when coke means carbon is added to the oxide ore, it gets reduced into metal. Now second process, that is using carbon monoxide. Where carbon monoxide is added to the metal oxide, then it is can be also converted into general metal form. And next, that is reduction agent that is used, that is hydrogen. When hydrogen H2 is used for reduction of oxide, then pure metal can be obtained. Mean metal or general metal can be obtained. Now last process, that is thermal decomposition. Through thermal decomposition we can due to heating some impurities can be removed. And last one, that is electrometallurgy. Electrometallurgy is the process of heating metal oxide ore in the presence of electricity, that is called electrometallurgical process. After reduction, in this step is we know that reduction of oxide ore is converted into metallic form. Mean after this, to reduce the metal oxide to metal, we will comes on the next step, that is extracted metal. After reduction process, we gets metal. Now we can say that next process impure and hence undergoes refining. Is we know that after obtaining metal from reduction of metal oxide, metal is not totally pure but it contains few quantity of impurities. To remove such type of impurities, we will have to follow the next step, that is called refining. Refining is the process of extracting minute impurities present along with the metal. For carrying out this process, we will follow different steps for refining. First process, that is called liquefaction. Liquefaction is the process that is done on the basis of melting point. Means when metal is converted into solid metal is converted into liquid form, then volatile impurities moves away from the metal. Now metal becomes pure. Now next process, that is distillation process that is used to refine volatile metals. It is used for volatile metals are those metals which get vaporized after heating. After next process, that is oxidation process. This process is used to refine metal containing oxidizable impurity. If metal containing oxidizable impurity, then it is heated and converted into pure. Then impurity gets oxidized and we get pure metal. And next process, that is pooling method. A pooling method is employed mainly for copper ore. It is employed for copper metal. In this process of pooling, we will take a green stick of plant. Now a green stick of plant is rotated in the metal, then that is called pooling process. Then that impurity gets detached from the carbon metal and stick to the pooling bamboo. Now we observe that these are the different steps followed in the process of metallurgy.
Now dear, we will discuss the metallurgy of aluminium. As we know that aluminium is occurrence of where aluminium is found, or occurrence of aluminium, it is said to that it is highly as we know that aluminium is highly electropositive metal. Electropositive metal that does not occur in free state. Means we can say that aluminium always occurs in combined state. Ores of, now we will discuss the ores of aluminium. There are different ores of aluminium, that is bauxite Al2O3.2H2O, cryolite Na3AlF6, corundum Al2O3, alunite that is called K2SO4 Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 4 AlOH whole thrice. Now dear students, we will come on the process of purification of ore. As we know that after obtaining the ore of aluminium, it is in large pieces. Before bringing into purification of ore, first of all it should be crushed. As we know that generally bauxite ore, that is bauxite ore Al2O3.2H2 is used is a ore of aluminium for extracting pure aluminium. As we know that bauxite contains Fe2O3 and means ferrous oxide, ferric oxide and silica SiO2 is the chief impurity in bauxite. Now crushed ores are crushed and these are brought into electromagnetic. Now after crushing of ore, electromagnetic separation process is used to remove the Fe2O3 is a impurity. Fe2O3 is a impurity. Is we know that the concentration by the Beer's process is done. Concentration by Beer's process or Hall process is done, that is called, these processes are used for concentration of aluminium ore and bauxite ore, that is aluminium ore. Means we can say that formation of aluminium hydroxide precipitate is carried out by adding, for increasing the formation of concentration we use aluminium hydroxide crystals. Now these crystals are used in the formation, increase the formation of precipitate. This process is called seedling. Now after concentration of ore, we comes on the third stage, that is electrolytic reduction of alumina means Al2O3 to Al. For carrying out electrolytic reduction, we follow the process that is called process Hall and Herold process. Means we will discuss it now. Now dear, we will discuss the third step of extraction of aluminium, that is electrolytic reduction of alumina Al2O3 to aluminium. The process used during the reduction of alumina, that is Al2O3 to aluminium, is called Hall and Herold's process. Now we will discuss the diagram of each. First step that involved in this process, that is first electrolytic cell. First setup of this process is electrolytic vessel. This is electrolytic vessels, as we can see that this is electrolytic vessel given here. And its outer portion, now we can say this portion is made up of iron, and inner portion is lined with carbon. Now
we comes on the second point, that is electrolyte. That is electrolyte, that is molten mixture of, that is which type of electrolyte is used in this process? Molten alumina. That is electrolyte uses molten mixture of alumina, that is 20% yielding, that is used for yielding aluminium, and cryolite. 60% cryolite is used in this mixture, and that is called Na3AlF6. That is called Na3AlF6. That act as a solvent, and it decreases the fusion temperature from 2050 degrees Celsius to 950 degrees Celsius. Now, second component of molten mixture is fluorspar, that is called calcium fluoride, CaF2. It is 20% in this mixture of electrolyte. It acts as a solvent and increases the conductivity of electrolytic mixture. Now, third thing that is used in the process, that is electrode. As we know that here we can watch in the diagram, two electrodes are used. First one is anode electrode, that is made up of carbon rod. Anode electrode, that is made up of carbon. This is anode electrode, that is connected with positive terminal of battery. You can watch here. Now this is anode electrode, and it is made up of carbon rods. And cathode electrode, that is second one is cathode electrode, that is attached to the inner lining of, iron wall, that is attached to the inner lining of vessel. It is made up of, it is carbon lining that act as a cathode. Now fourth point, what we need for carrying out this process, that is temperature. Temperature here should be maintained about 950 degrees Celsius. As we know that in the molten mixture, we have used alumina, fluorspar. Fluorspar is generally used for decreasing temperature from 2050 degrees Celsius to 950 degrees Celsius. Now fifth point, that is covering of electrolyte. Is we know that electrolytic mixture that is given here, will be mixed, that is given here, will be covered with, this is covered with coke. This is covered with coke. Here is coke, that is covered with coke. Carbon covered with coke, that act is covered with coke, that act is sprinkled over the molten part of molten mixture of alumina, that prevent powdered coat is sprinkled over electrolytic mixture, that reduces the heat loss, by radiation, process, that we can watch here, and it also prevent anode from burning in air. Otherwise, due to high temperature, anode gets burnt. Here sprinkle of carbon over covering of electrode is done by using powdered coke. Dear students, we comes on the sixth point, that is electrolytic reactions. Different types of electrolytic reactions that takes place in the process of reduction of alumina. That is, first we can observe that from alumina, that is Al2O3, it gets converted into 2Al3 plus and O2 2 minus. And from cryolite, Na3AlF6 is converted comes into ionized form, Na plus and Al3 plus and F minus, and fluorspar also breaks into CaF2 and Ca2 plus and 2F minus. Is we know that cathode is a negative plate, and in this vessel we can observe that anode is represented. Anode is the inner line. Anode is the carbon inner lining that act is the anode in this vessel. Now we moves towards the reactions involving at cathode. Na3Al plus and Ca2 plus ion migrate towards the anode, towards the cathode, but Al3 plus charge get discharged, because Al3 plus charge lie on the bottom of all these two elements in the reactivity series. After discharging at cathode, it gets reduced to Al. It gets reduced to Al from aluminium ion, Al3 plus ion. We know that aluminium formed here in the sink at the bottom of tank. We can watch here aluminium will form here. Aluminium will form the after some time, when this will fill, and we can tap out through this tap. We can take out aluminium through this tap, that we can watch here. Now we will discuss the reactions occurring at anode. Now we will discuss the discharge at anode, and as we know that anode is the positive terminal, that is carbon rod. As we can watch in the diagram, these are carbon rods, 3 carbon rods that act as a anode. It is connected with the positive terminal of battery. We can watch that carbon rod is electron deficient. In case of cathode, carbon lining act as a cathode, were electron rich, but in this case of anode, that is anode, carbon rod is electron deficient. As we know that ions are formed in case of alumina, fluorspar and cryolite. These ions, that is oxide and fluoride ions, migrate towards the anode, but oxide ion, O2 minus ion, discharge due to lower position in a electrochemical series. Now we can watch that oxygen, after removing 2 electrons, get oxidized. Now 2 oxygen atoms get combined to form oxygen molecule. As we know that this oxygen formed react with the carbon of anode to form initially carbon monoxide, and again carbon monoxide again react with hot carbon monoxide, again react with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. Slowly we observe that anode size gets decreases, or we can say that its size get decreases, and time to time we need to change the anode, that is called carbon rods. Okay, dear students, here is one thing in the diagram that we have discussed right now. Here we can watch that this is control lamp. As we can watch it, this is control lamp in this process. Control lamp, what is the function of control lamp? Is we know that control lamp here act as a indicator of alumina, presence of alumina in molten mixture of alumina. It is act as a indicator. When level of alumina decreases, the control lamps, any lightening of control lamps slowly and slowly decreases. Means this glowing bulb control lamp indicates the quantity of alumina in the mixture of a molten mixture. Now dear student, we will discuss the process of refining of aluminium, or we can say that purification of aluminium. As we know that aluminium metal obtained after reduction by the electrolysis of fused alumina can be further refined by the process that is called Hooft's electrolytic. Process. Here is the arrangement of Hooft's process. We can watch. Here is outside, that is iron tank, and there are 3 layers of mixtures, downward layer of mixture, and as we know that iron tanks its inner part is attached with the carbon lining. Carbon lining from lower side, this is represented by positive charge. Carbon lining rod act is a positively charged, that act is a anode, and second part, that is, here we can watch that carbon rods dipped in 4 carbon rods are suspended in the molten pure alumina, that is act is a carbon cathode. Now we can watch that in the electrolytic mixture there is 3 types of layer. Now downward layer, that is act is a molten impure aluminium, and middle layer, that is mixture of fluoride, here we can watch it properly. This downward side, that is molten impure aluminium, middle part, that is mixture of fluoride, and in the upper part, that is we can say that molten pure aluminium. Through this funnel, impure aluminium is supplied on the lower side, that is downward layer, that is called molten impure aluminium, that has to be purified and converted into pure forms. Now we will discuss each layer clearly. The upper layer, that is called molten pure aluminium. It is suspended with carbon rods. Carbon rod in it, that act as a cathode, that can be watched in the upper layer. These are 4 carbon rods that is suspended in the molten pure aluminium, we can watch here, and these rods act as a cathode. Now the middle layer, that is a mixture of molten mixture of fluorides of sodium, barium or aluminium. It act as a electrolyte for carrying out electrolysis process. And downward layer, that is we can watch here, this is downward layer, that is molten impure aluminium. Molten impure aluminium is lined with the carbon lining, that act as a anode in this process. Now we will discuss the process of electrolysis in how electrolysis process will take place. Now we will discuss how Hooke's electrolytic process occurs. As we know that on passing electric current, ions from middle layer, that is aluminium ion, Al3 plus ion moves from middle layer to the topmost layer. Now we can watch the reaction at cathode. Al3 plus charge, when takes 3 electrons, it gets reduced at cathode. At the same time, and same amount of aluminium from the bottom layer moves into the middle layer, and it gets oxidized at anode. Anode means aluminium loses 3 electrons and gets converted into Al3 plus ion, that we can watch here. Is we know that crude aluminium is supplied through this tapping hole, on the lower side, on the lowermost layer, so that 100% of crude aluminium is converted into pure aluminium formed through this electrolytic refining process. Now process of obtaining pure metal of aluminium from alumina has been completed. Now dear student, will we discuss the physical and chemical properties of aluminium. Now dear student, we will discuss the physical properties of aluminium. As we know that aluminium is looked silvery white, means it is silvery white metal. Now second point, it is malleable and ductile, means aluminium can be beaten into thin sheet, that is called malleability, and can be drawn into wire, that is called ductility property of this metal. Now third point, that it has high tensile strength, means it can carry heavy load on its thin wire. It melts at 660 degrees Celsius. It boils at to 4467 degree Celsius. Means we can say that melting point 660 degrees Celsius and boiling point is 2467 degrees Celsius. Its density is 2.7 gram per cubic centimeter. Means if we take a piece of aluminum having 1 centimeter long, 1 centimeter broad and 1 centimeter thick, we can say that its density will be 2.7 gram. It is good conductor of heat and electricity. Means aluminum wire is used generally for conduction in the line transmission. It can be easily molded and welded, but it cannot be soldered because aluminum forms aluminum oxide layer. That's why it is on its surface. That's why it is not easy to weld aluminum by soldering. Now dear students, we will discuss the chemical property of aluminum. First chemical property we will observe means the property by which it form new product. Action with air. Is we know that aluminum when does not react with dry air, aluminum react with moist air. Aluminum on strongly heating with moist air, on heating with oxygen, it forms on strong heating forms alumina Al2O3 and gives heat and light, and during this time it form white dazzling light. Aluminum also react with atmospheric nitrogen on strong heated and form aluminum nitride along with formation of heat and light. Now dear student, we will discuss the chemical property, second chemical property, that is action with water. Is we know that pure water, that is H2O, does not react with Al2O3 layer, means aluminum oxide layer. But seawater slowly react with aluminum and gives teeny bubbles of hydrogen gas. That when we brings burning kettle near hydrogen gas, it gives pop-up sound. Now third type of water, that is steam water. Means we can say that water vapor. When steam water, any water vapor is passed over red hot aluminium, that is Al2O3, then formation of aluminium oxide and hydrogen gas will take place. Reaction of this is represented here when aluminium treated with water, that is red hot aluminium, when water is passed over it, then formation of aluminium oxide will take place along the formation of release of hydrogen gas. Now there is third point we will discuss here, that is action with mineral acid. That is called mineral acids are those acids which are inorganic acids like is aluminium and hydrochloric sulfuric acid. When aluminium is treated with concentrate hydrochloric acid, then formation of aluminium trichloride will take place along the formation of hydrogen gas. In the similar way, we can say that when aluminium is treated with dilute sulfuric acid, then formation of aluminium sulfate Al2SO4 whole thrice plus hydrogen gas evolve here. Hydrogen gas also will form here, that can be represented here. Now we can say that in third case when aluminium is treated with concentrate sulfuric acid, that is concentrate H2SO4, treated with concentrate H2SO4, then we can say on boiling mixture of concentrate sulfuric acid and aluminium, we obtain aluminium sulfate, that is Al2SO4 whole thrice plus along with formation of water and sulfur dioxide gas. Is formed also here. That we can balance this by keeping 2 here and 6 here and 6 nearby water, and we can say that by balancing 3 with sulfur dioxide. Now this reaction gets balanced. Is we know that concentrate nitric acid in concentrate, or we can say that in dilute condition, is a powerful oxidizing agent. Powerful oxidizing agent is a powerful oxidizing agent. So on treating it with it fall a layer of aluminium oxide layer, protective layer, and reaction nitric. So we can see that aluminium can be stored in aluminium container only. Why we can say that nitric acid can be contained in aluminium container? Because nitric acid does not react with aluminium. If it reacts, then it form a protective layer that is called aluminium oxide layer in this process. Now reaction with mineral acid has been completed. Now next reaction, that is action with caustic alkalis. And that is sodium, either it is sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. When aluminium is treated with sodium hydroxide in medium of water, then after boiling it forms sodium meta-aluminate NaAlO2 along with release of hydrogen gas. Now again, when aluminium is treated with potassium hydroxide and in water medium, after boiling it forms potassium meta-aluminate along with the release of hydrogen gas. Now we will discuss the action with non-metal. Means what action of aluminium shows with non-metals. When aluminium is treated with non-metal, that is chlorine, then after heating aluminium, here is aluminium powder, then after heating aluminium trichloride will form. When aluminium powder treated with sulfur powder, then on heating it forms aluminium sulfide is formed along with release of heat. Means we can say that it is exothermic. When aluminium treated with carbon, on heating aluminium treated with carbon, that is non-metal, or we can say that it is charcoal powder, on heating it forms aluminium carbide along with the release of energy. Now we will discuss the reducing action. What is the reducing property? Means we can say those substances which take up oxygen from other substances are called a reducing agent. Here we can say that aluminium act a reducing agent. When aluminium treated with iron oxide, here aluminium is powder. When aluminium powder treated with iron oxide, on heating it forms aluminium oxides, and here oxygen is removed from iron oxide, then iron gets reduced and aluminium gets oxidized. Now we can say that along with release of energy, now we can say that aluminium is a reducing agent. Now we can say that, dear students, your chapter has been completed.